Hey everyone, how's it going? Gonna get started in just a second, making sure I'm live and all the things. Hope you are having a good day. If you voted in the U.S. party primaries yesterday, hope the person you voted for won. Alright. Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on twitch.tv/DDO stream, youtube.com/Dungeons & Dragons/live, and facebook.com/DDO Unlimited. I'm DDO's Community Manager Cordovan, and I know what you mean, fella. My person lost. But we ain't here to talk politics. We're here to talk DDO. I'm going to be on Kyber today. What? No hardcore? Yes, I died. I can tell you about my painful tale of woe here in just a little bit. If you're on hardcore, hope you're doing better than I did. If you're not on hardcore, hope you're having a good time. We released Update 45, Patch 3 today. I'll take a look at the release notes real quick. We can talk about a few other things if you want. Asteroid 2020. Nice. All right, so let me start off by talking a little bit about our bonuses. I know everyone always likes to hear that, and I actually put the page up this time. So we are going to have a double Mysterious Remnants boost. Kicks off tomorrow, runs through Sunday, March 8th. Double Mysterious Remnants does not mean twice the number of remnants you get. What it means is twice the chance for champions to drop remnants. So you'll get the same numbers, but it'll happen twice as often. That's the dealio anyway. So double Mysterious Remnants through Sunday, kicking off tomorrow. Also, we are getting close on the anniversary event. Let me check my own dating on that one. I can't remember what that was now. There we go. Yes, this is the final weekend of the anniversary event, so hey, I'll probably just run that today, because why not? Get Armagh a few more things, I think, before the event wraps up. So through Sunday is on the anniversary event. I'll get shut off Monday morning when QA gets into the office. So hope you've enjoyed the anniversary event this year. Hardcore Season 2's cooking along. We know that one for sure. And I'm here to answer any of your questions. We can also talk about the PAX East meetup here in a little bit and some other stuff too. So... Alright, I probably have some people saying, oh, no I don't. No one else is level capped? That's okay. Gonna do my gold roll. I like to do my gold rolls on the stream because I always have good luck on the stream. Until today. But that's fine. I'll take it. I need to change stream title. I should have done that. At least I think so. A big question. Wanatuk asks, what is the, quote, Gatekeeper's Grove in the Cerulean Hills? The longer-term plan, as I understand it, is to move a lot of the Gatekeeper's stuff. A lot of our classic packs tend to fall under the Gatekeeper's favor, and we want to consolidate that into, I think, a better area than the Hall of Heroes. Not that the Hall of Heroes is bad or anything, but it's real scattered. And I think the longer-term plan is to consolidate a lot of that stuff into kind of that new public space. But we'll see how it goes. That doesn't suck. No, you don't see what boots I have on. No, I've got... Oh, man, yeah, those boots. Just killer right now. They're not a ML13 thing, and I'm wearing it at level 30. How has the 64-bit beta been testing out? Yeah, so far it's been going really well. I think really it's just a reflection of us doing it first on the Lotro side, so that when we went into it this time around, we knew a lot of the gotchas that we might have run into last time. So, you know, everything seems to be going pretty smooth. We have a few, I think, things to work out yet. A few bugs that have to be done, a little bit of additional engineering work. But for the most part, it seems to be rocking along pretty good. So I wouldn't be too surprised to hear that beta tag maybe come off in the relatively near future. All right, let me check the other chats. Hello, Facebook. How do you get mounts, please? So, Keep on the Borderlands is the answer to that. You can go into the Keep on the Borderlands content, and in the landscape, by defeating named mobs in the landscape, chests drop, and you can get feather tokens. Qual tokens? I can't remember what we settled on the name on that, sorry. And you can turn those in through the vendor to get them out. Additionally, or alternatively, we do have a package in the DDO store, which is the, what do we call it now? Keep on the Borderlands bonus bundle? Is that what it's called? I can't remember what the formal name of it is, but that does come with a mount too if you want to go that way. Yeah, some issues with color flickering with the 64-bit client that you've noticed. Wilburstar, thanks for bringing that one up. That's interesting. I just heard the other day, as a matter of fact, today, Lotro had a patch along with DDO, and one of the fixes in that patch was to correct an issue that's called Z fighting. That tends to crop up with the advance to a 64-bit client. And that sort of is what you describe. And the solution to that, fingers crossed, got fixed today on the Lotro side, and I assume that work would then be copied over to the DDO side here, assuming that it works out. Why do mobs focus on the player when using hirelings? Because they are smart. I mean, come on. Which would you attack first?
The kobold wants inside.
Yeah.
Find evil, overlord! Stop kobolds
Hey,
and
Joey.
evils from fighting!
Ron, I have nothing to announce today about TR cache sorting and things like that, but it's something we might be able to do in the future, so stay tuned. We're making progress, slow but steady. Any ETA about fixing the indexing issue in the bank? Ebergar asks. No. I did ping...
there you are. Good. I've been dying to try this out.
Check this on. I did ping engineering about that, and it's on their plate of things to do. Honestly, I don't want to... I know it's not a very good solution, but I think I'd probably just recommend that you do it manually. Just spend 5-10 minutes bringing junk out of your account bank and putting it back in and manually refresh it.
Next time I'll try a different
It'll get done faster.
Or maybe a crossbow.
But if you do want to wait, that's fine too. Okay, let me send an invite. There we go. Do I like working in a constantly evolving game workplace? Heck yeah, I do. Man, I am so lucky to have this job, and I try very much not to take it for granted. There's nothing I would rather be doing outside of maybe being put in charge of the entirety of Dungeons and Dragons.
Welcome.
I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I think it might be owned already. But, yeah. But no, I was actually thinking about that today. So, for those who don't know, before I got hired by Turbine/WB back in 2010. Yeah, I'm going on my 10th anniversary here this November. I worked for many years as a reporter, covering state and national politics and things like that. I started out as a radio DJ, went into radio news, then got promoted into a state wire service, and then got promoted into a national wire service. And so I covered a lot of state and national politics, up to and including folks like, say, Mike Pence and, well, at the time, Al Gore and things like that, Hillary Clinton, etc. So when all the big U.S. political news happens, like the party primaries yesterday, tends to fire up those old brain cells that you know led to the passion for me going into that particular industry way back in the day. It also is a good reason. It also tends to remind myself of why I no longer do it. I feel sorry for all. If you're a reporter out there happening to hear my voice, especially if you're a TV news reporter, I know. I know what you went through yesterday. Ugh. I'm feeling for you.
You see a perfectly ordinary door. Something about this area feels
back to the
strange
kind of
me.
working in a constantly evolving workplace. Because of my history in radio and everything, I've always sort of worked in that kind of environment. I mean, you don't get a more chaotic news environment than like a radio newsroom that I'm aware of. And so I guess I've never really had a job that wasn't that, outside of, say, your standard sort of high school, early college jobs, and, you know, jobs for job's sake, as it were. So I'm not sure how the other half lives. I don't know if I'd like it or not, but I don't think I would. Doesn't seem like the kind of thing I'd dig.
Good form.
Yeah, it's true. For, you know, especially if you're maybe not as tuned into the U.S. political system, you'll often hear on the news, you know, who won, who lost in the party primaries. But it is important to remember that these are a function of the state political parties, not the U.S. election system per se. So ultimately what happens is, remember that the parties are selecting their nominee to the general election. It's not the general election itself that includes the primary. Bit of splitting hairs there, but it does matter when it comes to, you know, who actually is running the thing and how it functions and why is it different in one place than another and all the rest. It's because it really is a function of the state parties themselves rather than, say, a formal general election system. Now, they obviously get a lot of help with from their secretaries of state and things like that, but at its core, the party primaries are separate from the general election.
The harbor master nods at the door. The kobolds are back there. Maybe you can do something with them. Kobolds rally around a bonfire, yipping and chanting.
Nick, I found a pretty serious bug. Where do you report it? You can report it one of a couple of different ways. If you kind of hit escape and go to the help menu, there is an option to submit a bug report through there. There's also an option if you want to go on, like, say, doing a web client like Chrome or something, you can go to help.standingstonegames.com and file a bug report through there as well. No, not inventory sorting per se. Not like the way Lotro does it, that I would love to have. But we did, with Update 45, do a whole bunch of work with the account shared bank, and by default crafting storage then as well. And you can now sort by, say, like item type, min level, all sorts of other things. And the suggestion is, well, the obvious suggestion is, honestly, can we please do that for the TR cache too? The answer is I bet we'd love to, and hopefully we can do that in the future. PAX East went good. Thanks, Elizabeth, for asking. Thanks for reminding me to bring that up. I did want to thank everyone who attended the PAX East meetup, PAX East area meetup at Adventure Pub in Arlington. For those who attended, we heard lots of overwhelmingly positive feedback. People saying, you know, this is the best meetup we've had for PAX East yet. Awesome venue. I mean, can you do better for us D&D and Lotro folks than like a gastro pub that focuses on tabletop gaming and role-playing for geeks and is run by a former DDO Lotro executive producer? No! You can't! And also had free street parking, etc., etc. It was a good time. And we packed that place. It was busy, and that was awesome. We went above our cap of 60. I even had to turn a couple of people away that were not, by the way, DDO or Lotro peeps. Everyone who was a DDO or Lotro player who showed up got in. Interestingly enough, even though the event didn't start until 7, we really kind of had people showing up around 6-ish, and it trickled in from there. And during that kind of lead up to it, you know, when people would show up at our section, because we had about half the venue just dedicated, you know, roped off for us, and they'd show up and I'd want to give them tickets for redeeming swag and things like that. So I'd ask, hey, are you a DDO or Lotro player? You know, if you say DDO, you get a DDO ticket. Lotro, you get a Lotro ticket. And we use that to sort of make sure everyone got a piece of swag, right? And during that first hour, there was 3 or 4 people who'd walk up to me and say, like, I'd ask, hey, are you a DDO or a Lotro player? And they'd be like, what? I kind of had to head scratch. I was like, all right. And I'd say, well, did you RSVP for the event? And they'd say, yeah, I RSVP'd. And I was thinking, it's like, well, why would you RSVP for an event if you don't even know what DDO or Lotro is for a DDO Lotro players meetup that, as far as I'm aware, was really just advertised on the forums and our own social media, right? Come to find out, there was some kind of thread on the PAX East forums, which was, hey, now that the coronavirus canceled a whole bunch of stuff, what are you doing on Friday night? And apparently there was some kind of post on there, which was, hey, I hear SSG's doing a free meetup with free food. So, I didn't realize this, of course, until afterwards, but that explained a whole lot, because I was like, what? Where are you folks coming from? You know, how did you even hear of this thing, right? So I did have to, frankly, turn away a few of those folks. I mean, not that I didn't appreciate you showing up, and not that you wouldn't have had a good time, but this was an event for DDO Lotro players,
You spot an unexpected figure
not just randos to eat our free food.
Your old nemesis,
So,
all right, sighs Malicia. I'll help you with your pathetic little friend. Now to return to Jeets and delve inside his mind.
But eventually, once 7 o'clock hit and we had a full house, and I knew that just about everyone who had RSVP'd showed up, I started letting a few of them in. I was just like, yeah, fine. Everyone got a chance to eat at that point. Everyone got a chance at the food and everything. And under the idea of, well, maybe we can pick up a few players here.
To open a pathway leading into the
But it was a great time. The venue was awesome. I want to thank Adventure Pub for being gracious and awesome hosts. I want to thank all the players for frankly rocking it too. We had a really good time. Also, apparently made some news. Did that Q&A that you can really, the direct source to get the most up-to-date info on that would be mmocentral.com. Druid's Fire in particular was at the event recording it. You can actually see the video of the thing if you want to do it that way.
Perhaps this experience has made him a wiser, more thoughtful halfling.
It's also been picked up by,
Doesn't seem likely.
you know, her reporting was picked up by like Massively and some of the other kind of places, but the direct source is mmo-central.com. yeah, we announced some stuff. I thought it was cool. I thought it went really well. I think maybe the news was slightly bigger on the Lord of the Rings side than it was on the DDO side, and I think that's really just a matter of a function of them not having their producer's letter quite published yet. So, you know.
House Fjarlan guards block a kobold from entering
That's true,
the
dude.
anniversary party.
One,
Excited
I
creature
could never
waves to you.
ride a unicycle. I am not that coordinated. But I also wouldn't try playing my flute while
Kobold
doing it.
points inside.
Find evil overlord! Stop kobolds and peoples from fighting!
The coin lords raise a glass to you as you enter the grand ballroom.
Oh, sorry, I don't know where I'm going. I'm actually going to Steel Star.
An impressive warforged turns to face you. There you are. Good. I've been dying to try this out.
Yeah, we announced the unicorn mount coming with Feywild. Well, we announced one of them anyway. Even showed a kind of a work in progress pic. And unfortunately, I'm not in a position to show kind of over the internet, as it were.
The warforged clatters
You'll
the
have to
ground,
kind of look at
but
the
hand
video
somehow
screen
continues speaking.
and do it from there.
Still a few problems with this build. I know. Next time I'll try a different rune arm. Or maybe a crossbow.
Brian 101, I cannot answer a Lotro question on DDO stream. It's not that I wouldn't have an answer for you, it's that I cannot have a situation where Lotro players feel like they need to watch my DDO streams and DDO players need to feel like they need to watch the Lotro streams in order to get information for their game. So I have a strict ban on discussing any sort of specific information about the other game on the podcast, or on the other game's stream.
You can't quite make it out, but you think it was something like...
So ask me Friday.
What? Cool.
Yeah. I'm on Kyber. The Woof Woof. Cool name. So, how is my hardcore experience going? It was going great.
Sits brooding on a throne,
I reached level
surrounded
9.
by
I was
skulls.
just doing all elite, going through all the level 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Got all that done. I ran Shantikor, I ran Red Fang, I was doing all this stuff on myself, or doing solo. Running with some peeps as well. But over the weekend, primarily going solo and doing a great time. And then I walked into Party Crashers on Elite at level 9
Gives you one last defiant look. Next time.
and got
it
raffle
won't
stomped
be
at the
so
end fight.
easy.
You know, when I didn't do enough of the optionals because I thought I'd be, quote, oh, I'll be fine. Famous last words.
You see a
And
perfectly
all
ordinary
those
door.
people came in. I just got, boom, commanded, and I just got to sit there while I died.
Something about
So
this
unfortunately,
day
my
feels
hardcore
strange to you.
experience had a rough end to the weekend, and I've not had time to go back since because I've been busy the last couple of days. But I will be starting it up again. My hardcore run is not done. I need to at least give myself a third run. I think I'm probably going to go basically the same as I went this time because my cleric build was doing very well for me. Up until I hit Party Crashers. But really, that is a ego problem than it was a build problem. I should never have gone into that end fight without enough of those optionals done to limit the amount of combat I was going to have to do. And I did it anyway. So, that's on me. Well, I have to admit, all my deaths on hardcore this year have been no one else's fault. I've only had 2, but they've both been completely my fault. I can't blame lag, I can't blame other players, I can't do anything. It's 100% me messing up. Vsherd over on Twitch, The last day of the anniversary event is Sunday. It'll be turned off on Monday morning when Kiwei gets into the office. So this is not the final day, but this is upcoming the final weekend for the event. So the trap room with all the runes didn't actually bother me that much. I was able to get through that fine. And although I didn't have a true seeing item for that other room where you had to kind of do it, I lucked out and I got it on my second try. So that was all good. It was really the, like I say, it was me being overly optimistic about the end fight. And the end of Party Crashers. I should have known better. Especially since I was running it solo and not in a group. Donna, if you're getting a repeat of words, check to make sure you don't have a second audio source going, like maybe it's on Twitch and YouTube or something like that. Otherwise, I didn't see anything immediately, but I will listen afterwards, and sorry if I messed up.
The kobolds have transformed the chapter house into an armed camp.
Kobolds not welcome at your party? Kobolds not welcome here!
What does a, quote, mega server mean for the current servers? Alright, let's get into that there, Shoemaker. So, we were asked a question on Friday about the possibility of server merges, and Sev answered by really pulling back the curtain on some of our longer-term discussions we've been having about the how we'd actually do something like that. And he used words like mega server and kind of explained that the way we would probably do something like that, were we to do it, would be to create a handful, one or two, or whatever ended up making the most sense, of a couple of new worlds, and then have all the players from the existing worlds move to that world. There's a bunch of reasons to do that. There's hardware reasons, kind of technical reasons to open up fresh and then move people over from existing. There's also a big one, is it would make a huge difference in terms of names being taken since 2006 that have been unavailable by players who, frankly, have not played since, whenever it is that they left. So by opening fresh, we have a complete new set of names. So all those old, hey, I registered a bunch of names in 2006 and haven't played since 2008 or whatever, would be open. Yeah, as people have kind of talked in the forums and all that afterwards, it opens up a whole other can of worms that we'd have to deal with. And Sev had said on Friday, during the meetup, some of those things, like, guilds and airships and TR caches and shared banks and, just a million different kind of but whatabouts that really to 2020 here have largely prevented us from being able to move forward with things like that. It'll be a big engineering task. It's going to be a lot of work. So I wanted to make sure that when we were talking about that, we weren't like saying, yes, we're going to do it this year or anything like that. This is far more speculative than that. But it is something we've been talking about for quite some time, about how we do it. And I do think we have a general structure in place for how we'd like to do it, I think. Pending all the work that would be required before we could even consider such a thing.
You spot the new dark overlord of all the kobolds.
And yeah, it would be, we're not going to make people pay to be able to keep playing the game like that. So, yeah, those transfers would be free, right? Other things that came up, like, well, what about all my character slots? And, I've got 20 characters per server or what have you, and how am I going to deal with that? What, are you going to let me have 300 characters on the new mega server or whatever? Aren't, is the answer to that. That's all we're aware. that's one of many things that we're going to have to
Malicia
kind of
uses her
figure out
arcane
before we do
powers
something like
to
that.
open a pathway leading into the mind of Jeets.
Yeah, I would think Shoemaker, just presumably we might look at something the way the other game does it, which is you essentially get what's called a package item, you know. So things like your guild stuff over on the Lord of the Rings
very
Online, when you
clear
do
what's
a
on
transfer,
Jeetz's
it actually
mind.
gets into an
Malicia
item that
is
carries
not
with you, and then you
amused.
double click on it and it repopulates and all that kind of thing.
Very
DDO is
serious
nowhere near a position to be able to just sort of bring
The Jeets
that
you
kind of
know
thing in.
vanishes.
But presumably we'd be doing something like
Stands
that.
something far more sinister. The dark form recoils from your assailant. The dark overlord seems to be weakening.
Also, he did talk about the level cap increase and you know, excited a bunch of people, both positively and negatively, about it. You know, we did announce that eventually. We have a years-long plan to take the level cap to 40. I would like to underscore years long on that one. How would characters of the same name for the same account in different servers be resolved? The most likely way that would be resolved would be using the existing tech. And the way that that would work is the first character of name X would get the name. The second character of name X would get the name -1. The third character you transferred over with name X would be -2. And then any of the characters that got a dash to their name would have a free rename, which is something like / change name space, whatever you want the name to be, something like that. That's how it currently works, and I'd imagine that's how it would work for name conflicts under that
the
scenario.
anniversary party. The excited creature waves to you.
Scragno, you! You helped Scrag in harbor!
The kobold points inside.
No.
Find evil overlord!
Anyone who says, can we just bring a new engine to DDO doesn't
The
understand how
coin
game
lords raise a
development
glass
works.
to you as you
Sorry,
enter the
I know
grand
that's rude.
ballroom.
They're not cassette tapes. You can't pop one out and put another in. It's just not how it works.
An impressive warforged turns to face you. There you are. Good. I've been dying to try this out. The warforged clatters to the ground, but the head somehow continues speaking. Still a few problems with this build.
Oh,
I
thanks,
know.
Johnny. I
Next
will
time
let
I'll
Even
try a
know that you
different
said
rune
that.
arm, or maybe a
Actually,
crossbow.
Even was considering bringing her show back here in the near future, but we'll see what happens.
A dark figure beckons to you. Welcome, he cries cheerfully as he raises You can't quite make it out, but you think it was something like, not cool.
Yeah, that's right. Kobold Even is the channel name.
A figure sits brooding on a throne, surrounded by skulls.
It's true, I am literally beating myself up.
The vanquished warrior gives you one last defiant look. Next time, it won't be so easy.
I appreciate your feedback, Brian101, that quote, DDO
see a
alts are a
perfectly
neglected waste of
ordinary door.
time. I disagree very strongly with you.
Something
Plus,
about this area
I think
feels
there's a whole bunch of
strange to
people
you.
out there who play alts just fine who would disagree with you. But, you know, your personal opinion's your personal opinion. That's fine.
Keep that up.
The creature emits a guttural groan and collapses.
Where am I dying today? Well, so far I'm not. I am playing on my level 30 on Kyber.
Is ours.
Frankly, this is one of my longer-term characters, although I'm still fairly gear poor. I'm doing alright on this character. This character tends to die less than most,
Harbor Master
despite
Zane
only having
motions for you to
875
stop.
hit points at level 30.
The kobolds
Oops,
have
guess I
taken
should
over
do
the
something
chapter
about that.
house. No one is allowed back there until we get the situation under control. The Harbor Master nods at the door. The kobolds are back there. Maybe you can do something with them. Kobolds rally around a bonfire, yipping and chanting.
So Nick over on Facebook, I am one of those people too who kind of don't like it when there's like a -1 on my name, character name. So when I've been in that position, I'm usually one of the first to do like an instant rename. Especially on the existing worlds, right? That can be more challenging than it ought, because we do have, 14 years now of names being taken. So one of the advantages, theoretically at least, of that kind of plan that I was talking about would be to have a much better chance to take a name that you want, with the addition of all those renames that would be taking place.
Kobolds not welcome at your party. Kobolds not welcome you here, guys. Kobold remember. What was that again?
Kobold shamans mock you from above.
You not like kobolds here? Now you know how kobolds feel when you go in their sewers. Kobolds never forget.
I have to admit, when I died on Sunday evening, Johnny H, I was pretty down on the HCL. I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna do it. I'm not good enough. I do think I'm good enough, gosh darn it, and people like me. But I think I'm gonna have to be even smarter, and I gotta stop. As soon as you know the most dangerous thing, I need to never. As soon as I hear myself say, "Oh, it'll be all right," no, stop, reevaluate.
Kobolds scamper through the seats.
Why do you say that, Johnny? That 1750 favor in level 20 is, quote, not very hard, but apparently it is.
A pair of
For me.
kobolds peer down an open trapdoor.
You go down. You
The kobolds jeer at you as you approach the gate.
Hey, Tom. We not give you peace.
But I'm feeling pretty confident about the build I put together. Like I said, I got to level 9 with that cleric. About the only swap I'm going to do is now that we've made longswords just kind of the hotness, right? For clerics, because you can go into the favored deity and get all sorts of pluses to hit and damage with a longsword. We always had some of that, but it's been jacked up a lot. I think I'm actually not going to take War Domain, which has been kind of my historic go-to. since it debuted, and instead go into
Spot the new dark
I don't know
overlord
yet.
of all the kobolds standing atop
Something.
the throne. It's none other
extra light damage, maybe. Because I didn't actually find myself needing it very
thinks that
much.
becoming a dark overlord will win over
You know,
Milesia's
in the
heart.
past I've been using it because
You'll
I'd
need
swap
to
into
enlist her
Kopesh
help if you
or
want to save
Bastard
the
Sword or
allied
whatever, do
halfling
sword and
from
board with
himself.
my shield and go into the two-handed fighting route, which is all that's going to happen again. But I think I'm actually going to swap out War Domain as my deity feat for something else. My goal on Hardcore 2 this time is, as you state, 1750 favor and level 20. And then once I do that, if I do that, then it's going to be, let's see if you can even do some Reaper.
Fix your friend.
See how that goes. Ah, Luck Domain,
very
SLA
clear
displace.
what's on
Ooh,
Sheets'
yeah,
mind.
yeah, yeah.
Malicia is not
That's a good one.
amused. Your friend has issues. Very serious issues. The Jeets you know vanishes, and in his place stands something far more scary. The dark form recoils from your existence.
I was very confident, though, heading into that Party Crashers quest, which, you know, I realize is also a problem, but I was frankly not having difficulty staying alive up to that point.
I know what you're trying to
My PRR
do. Bad thoughts.
and
They're too strong.
armor class and everything was, all the stats were going real well. It just wasn't really, like I said, it just ended up kind of getting held, and what do you do about it? Not much. Actually, I know what you do about it. Potion evil. Or protection from evil, which I should have done, but did not. You reported a bug with a lesser reincarnation from a warlock to an alchemist. Any news on that? Is that the one that I saw the note for, where if you talk to a class trainer and did a certain flow, that trainer would think that it's a warlock or an artificer trainer instead of an alchemist trainer? Is that the one? I don't know, I can't remember.
Raise a glass to you as you enter the grand ballroom.
That got fixed today.
An impressive warforged turns to face you. There you are. Good. I've been dying to try this out.
Yeah, Sitar over on YouTube raises a thing about following up on my kind of ability to swap game engine. Well, what about textures? Could we, say, theoretically bring in, 4K textures, some kind of high-res textures? Yeah, theoretically that is something that could take place. It would be a big process, because, after 14 years, you got a lot of them. But theoretically, that is something that could be done. Oh, so Nick. Oh, I see what you're saying. Basically, Nick is suggesting that people be allowed to take that same used name and accept a -1, -2, and just kind of let that be okay. Kind of in the same way that, your Gmail might be Jerry1422 or whatever that is, right?
You can't quite make it out, but you think it was something like, not cool.
Maybe. I think we'd kind of hear from people who might not be too happy about that, because they feel a strong connection to, quote, their name. But, if there was wide enough support for something like that, it seems like it would be possible.
A figure sits brooding on a throne, surrounded by skulls. The vanquished warrior gives you one last defiant look. Next time, it won't be so easy.
AJ Mac, I want to follow up on that. The Dark Eye is no longer displaying on an ASMR with Fallen Pat. I will have to follow up on that.
Something about this area feels strange to you.
Stop beating myself up about dying on the hardcore server. That's our job. No, people didn't recognize when I died this time. I didn't get the kind of PMs that I got when Mock Duck passed away. But if you were around on Sunday evening and you saw a Sekihan has died from having his constitution get too low, that was me. When I realized that I was held and it was just not going to work, I tried to Alt F4 my way out. Didn't work. Which I guess is good. No, it's kind of cheesy anyway. But
Was that like when did rage wear off?
no, I think it's because I tried to Alt F4 out, and when you do that, I don't actually know that this is true. But my working theory is you lose your enhancement bonus to Constitution when you log out, so you just have your natural character Constitution bonus. So if your hit points are too low and you lose that con bonus and die, I think that's what that hit point messaging's about. But I've not actually followed up with the systems dev to see if that's true.
The harbor master nods at the door. The
That's
kobolds
not
are
correct?
back there.
Okay.
Maybe you can do something with them. Kobolds rally around a bonfire, yipping and chanting.
Kobolds, take back Star Reach! Kobolds are young to die!
Yeah.
Kobolds smell trouble!
The kobolds have transformed the chapter house into an armed camp.
Kobolds not welcome at your party! Kobolds not welcome you here!
So I would have agreed with you on that, Shoemaker, that you actually lose your enhancement bonus when you log back in. Because that's when your equipment is briefly popped off and back on to refresh, right? But that wasn't the way it happened, because, you know, I tried to Alt F4 out when I was held, and I was just like, this ain't gonna work. Let's do a Hail Mary and see if I get lucky. And I didn't. Because that message happened before I logged back in.
Kobolds never forget!
I was completely out of the game at that point when well, I had just logged out. The game client had just closed when that message crossed the server. And I know that because I was, fellow guildies told me. So if the thing you had said was true, which is that you actually lose it when you log in, not when you log out, then I would have expected that death message to take place when I log back in. Jeff, asking a question on Facebook, which servers are
Kobolds
staying, which
scamper
are
to the
going?
seats of the
Way
darkened
too early for
theater.
that. This isn't even a formally announced thing that we're going to be doing.
They cry.
This was in response to a question asked of Sev during the player meetup on Friday, which he offered some insight into. Much different than, say, announcing a server merge or something like that. But under that scenario, everyone would move over into two or more newly built servers, or whatever we ended up doing there. Yeah. I am actually glad that I didn't. I would have felt bad in hindsight if I had somehow survived by Alt F4ing out of party crashers there. I'm better than that. But you know, in the middle of everything, you're like,
Jinx
I don't
thinks
want to
that becoming a
lose.
dark overlord will win over Melicia's heart.
So
You'll
my
need to
ethics were not
enlist
what
her
they should have
help
been.
if you want to save the addled halfling from himself.
I actually, though, Johnny, think that maybe that is... I actually don't think people should be able to Alt F4 to try to bypass a hardcore death. Despite the fact that I'm a total hypocrite because I just tried to do it. I actually am kind of glad it didn't work out.
The Jeets you know vanishes, and in his place stands something. The dark fire recoils from your side.
I mean, there's nothing wrong per se with it. I mean, it, you know, to some extent, you kind of get diminishing returns on we need to stop people from doing X or whatever, right? Especially since it seems to not be working very well. But, you know. Alright, I think we got one more run in us. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there someone still in? Maybe duck out of the party instance.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So how do we go from server merge not going to happen to merging, or is it going to be a new server?
House Fjarlan guards block a kobold from entering the anniversary party. The
I
excited
think
creature
it's
waves to you.
largely that in neither case have we made an announcement, but we've occasionally discussed it over the years, like what
The
might
coin
we
lords
do,
raise a glass to you as you
and
enter
that
the
led
grand
people to
ballroom.
say they are definitely going to do
An
X.
impressive warforged turns to face you.
As far as I'm aware, we've never said never on a server merge. As far as I'm aware, we've always said basically nothing. Or if we did say something, we said, you know, there would be a lot that we'd have to do before we were to do something. And that ultimately is consistent with what we said on Friday.
Still a few problems with
We
this
just
build.
provided a little
I
more
know.
detail about
Next time I'll
kind of the
try a
nuts and
different
bolts of
rune
how
on
that would actually
or
work.
maybe a crossbow. A dark figure beckons to you. Welcome, he cries cheerfully as he raises his
Yeah, a guild ship chests and pretty much any guild ship amenities and your guild ships and your guild are all things that would have to be sorted out before we would do something like that. But yes, presumably, I can't see a situation where we would move forward with it if your guild stuff didn't come with you.
Is gold.
You spot an unexpected figure among the party guests. Your old nemesis, Malicia. What is the succubus doing at an event like this?
The mission is going well.
The vanquished warrior gives you one last defiant look. Next time, it won't be so easy.
The last thing you saw that we haven't talked about, guild TRs, question
see
mark,
a
how would that
perfectly
work? That was another
ordinary
question brought up by players, quote, would we ever do something like a guild TR? And I think Sev was just like,
Something
maybe.
about this area feels
I have
strange
no
to
idea
you.
what would actually be involved in something like that. No
Not
idea.
all that glitters is gold.
Your guild reincarnates? No, actually, I think that I joked about this at the party. So, you know, when you do a character TR, you get taller, and when you do a guild TR, all the members of your guild get wider. So,
The creature emits a guttural groan and collapses.
it's a neat idea and concept, though. That's for sure. I just haven't. It's just really not something that we talked about. It was really just kind of response to a question, sort of thing.
The mission is going well.
Harbor Master Zin motions for you to stop. The kobolds have taken over the chapter house. No one is allowed back there until we get the situation under control. The Harbor Master nods at the door. The kobolds are back there. Maybe you can do something with them.
Any thoughts of making some of the Madness series epic at all? That's a kind of long-standing adventure pack that has not received the epification treatment, so never say never on that, although I have not heard of plans to do that. I mean, it's not something that we've currently got on our agenda. That'd be like the Harbinger of Madness and, the other Madness.
The kobolds have transformed the chapter house into an armed camp.
Kobolds not welcome at your party? Then kobolds not welcome you here!
Could we not make a merged server for quests so the LFM is all servers? In that case, you're really looking at sort of a shared server LFM system, or a cross-server LFM system. That sort of thing is theoretically, technically possible.
Kobold shamans
Nothing
mock you from
stopping
above.
it per se, other than a huge amount of work.
You know how kobolds feel when you go in their sewers! Kobolds never forget!
I don't know. It's a cool idea and concept. I'm not an engineer. Who cares about guilds? Start our guilds from fresh and just merge the servers?
Not all that glitters is gold.
I think you'd probably not be making any friends were we to do something like that. What about all the real money they spent on their guild airships? Anyway, the answer is who cares about guilds? Lots of people care about their guild. So, I think the answer is who cares? Most of them.
You go down!
Says one to the other. You spot the new dark overlord of all the kobolds standing atop the throne. It's no other than
You'd love to see a pit live show in
Jinx thinks that becoming a dark
on this
overlord
channel,
will
me
win
doing
over
the pit.
Melicia's heart. You'll need to enlist her
I like that
help if
idea.
you
Maybe
want
I
to
should do
save the
something.
addled halfling from himself.
I will teach players how to run the pit, and maybe I'll do it for April 1st or something this year. It'd be like a Saturday night live sketch or something like that. That'd be fun. Maybe I will do that. That sounds like a great idea. As long as I can be okay with kind of embarrassing myself on the
Very
air.
clear what's on Jeetz's mind. Malicia
And as long
is
as
not
people
used,
have a
the
sense of
Jeetz
humor
you know
about it.
vanishes, and in his place
I love that
stands
idea.
something far more sinister. But all four
Oh, on my channel? I would probably do that on DDO stream. Again, I don't want anyone to feel like they need to ever watch my own personal Twitch channel. Nor do I want to sort of blur the lines between work and private life there.
What in the bag thoughts?
So all DDO stuff's going to be on the DDO channel. But I love that idea. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. That's just too good an idea to pass up. All right, thanks for being here, everyone. I'm going to get you a code in the in-game mail later on today. Final questions. All right, let's call it a show. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. I'll be back next Wednesday on Orion for the next 2 weeks, unless I'm on the hardcore world. I guess I'll have to figure that out by next week. We do have our Double Mysterious Remnants boost going starting tomorrow, running through Sunday, and this is the final weekend for the anniversary event as well, so hope you're enjoying that. I'll talk to you all soon. Have fun.